It was weigh-in day today. How much did I lose on the carnivore diet in the first 18 days? Welcome back if you're already a subscriber, and if you're a newcomer, welcome. Dan and I are trying to become more self-sufficient, and recently we're looking at our health. And so I am on the carnivore diet. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to watch my journey. In this video, I'm going to share with you how much I lost on the first 18 days of the carnivore diet and what my wins are so far other than just losing weight. So weight loss and wins first. And then I want to touch briefly just on what the carnivore diet is supposed to be, and also what do I eat. And then finally I want to share with you what exactly is my plan with the carnivore diet and share some before pictures with you, which is really hard for me to do, but I think I've worked up the nerve to actually share the before pics with you. So I weighed today and lost 3 more pounds, which brings my total in the first 18 days to 12 pounds lost. Yay! But for me, it isn't just about weight loss. It's about optimizing my health. And so I have some wins other than just weight loss that I want to share with you. Starting on day 5, I started to notice that my inflammation in my lower legs and like my feet had gone down enough to where I didn't have to wear a shoe. I didn't have to use a shoe horn or some kind of assistance to get my shoes on in the morning. So, and I haven't done that since. Now I do still feel like I have some inflammation, just particularly in my lower calf area, that I still need to get rid of, but I'm hoping in time that that will come along. Day 9, I started feeling like I had a little more energy, and that was exciting to me because one of the issues was low energy. And so I started feeling like I had a little more energy. By day 13, I was getting restless at night when we would watch TV. We sit in the recliners and watch TV. That to me indicated that I had a little bit of excess energy. And so now, a couple of days a week, I do some extra walking, like down our lane. Our lane is about 1/8 of a mile or so long, so just a trip down and back, which I feel like is helping. But I used to come home from work and just be so tired, like even a mental exhaustion. It was mainly mental because I do have a desk job that I work full-time Monday through Friday. And I would cook dinner, wouldn't even feel like doing the dishes or anything, just get it done, and then sit in the recliner for, and watch TV. So that's a big win for me, to be able to have enough energy, not just to cook dinner, but to get up and actually do something at night. Now, prior to my surgery, if you haven't watched my first video on why I'm doing the carnivore diet, I did have a surgery that I needed 6 weeks to recover from. But prior to that, I was forcing myself to work on a side business that I have every single night and all weekend. And it honestly was wearing me out. In the next video, I will tell you what my side business was and why I'm phasing it out now. Another win happened on day 12. On day 12, I felt like this mental brain fog was lifting. I had trouble sometimes remembering things or words for things. It's the standard getting older, can't really remember this or that. And I feel like that's getting clear. Everything is getting clear. My brain fog is lifting. My mental clarity is better. I've noticed in the morning, I'm not as dog tired, like feeling like I hadn't slept the night before. And my mental clarity is also better at work. particularly in the morning. And I'm also not getting that, 2 p.m., oh, it's nappy time in the afternoon, whereas before, like after lunch, and of course I wasn't eating low carb, so I was taking in a bunch of carbs at work, but then after lunch it was like 2 p.m. was like, really dragging. And I don't feel that anymore. So just briefly, I want to go over exactly what is the carnivore diet in case there's some of you out there who haven't heard of it before. And in my last video, I touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to just quickly, briefly tell you exactly what the carnivore diet is. To follow the carnivore diet, you're going to be eating a lot of fatty red meat. That would be your main meat source. You don't have to eat a ton of red meat because, it is a little bit expensive. You can buy lesser cuts. You can eat ground beef, the cheaper cuts. But really, any ruminant meat, so you're talking about goat, you're talking about deer, beef. And then if you want to eat pork, you can eat pork also. So really any meat, you can throw in some seafood. Obviously you're going to need some variety, but the main source would be that fatty red meat. Then also salt, real salt is important on the carnivore diet, and it's suggested that you use a pink sea salt or a salt that's not from one of the major oceans that has a lot of pollution in it. So I believe it's called Redmond's sea salt. I'm not there yet. I have pink Himalayan salt, and that's what I'm using. But you're going to get a lot of the electrolytes and minerals that you need to maintain, proper health during this diet. So you won't get headaches, you won't get leg cramps, you want to maintain the electrolytes. Real butter for the fat portion. Other than the fatty meat, you need to use real butter. You can have eggs, and you can have bacon, which is a really good fatty meat. Then that's pretty much it for the standard carnivore diet, but then there are also different versions. So for example, you could add in some dairy, which would include hard cheeses, not the processed nasty American cheese slices. So hard cheeses, which you can shred, and also you can have heavy whipping cream or heavy cream. That's full of fat also and takes out a lot of the crap that's in your half and half and in your regular milk. So you can have that. Now, for me, being a carb and sugar addict, and if you did go ahead and watch that video I linked to last time for Dr. Joan Ifland, you realize that there are a lot of things in cheese that are more concentrated than they are in milk. And so that's why a lot of people crave cheese and love cheese and want cheese on everything. So for me, being a carb and sugar addict, I treat cheese like it's a condiment, and a once in a while condiment. So every now and then I've been putting some cheese on something, but really I'm just beginning here, and I know that farther down the road I'm probably not gonna want to have cheese at all, but there has to be some kind of transition to the carnivore diet. I kind of went cold turkey a little bit because I was so ticked off at, the American diet, the standard American diet, which they call the SAD diet, and it's really sad. But I feel like I should have maybe transitioned a little more. It might have been a little easier for me. So I do have a few things that I'm still hanging on to a little bit because I don't want to go off the diet. So if there's a few things that are going to add flavor, like spices, if there's a few spices that are going to add flavor, for example, to the meat I'm cooking and will keep me going on it, I want to do that right now. But now in the future, I'm probably not going to use any of that. And the only real heavy cream that I've been using is like a tablespoon in my coffee. The coffee at work, I mean, it's okay, but to drink it black, it's okay for a little while, but then as it starts cooling down, it gets kind of this little wang to it. So I do have a carton of heavy cream at work that I keep in the fridge there, and I will put a little dollop of that in my coffee in the morning when I'm at work. Now, when I'm at home, I put butter in the coffee. I can drink it black at home just fine, but if you put butter in the coffee, fat is satiating. So in other words, if I have a little fat in my coffee, I don't get near as hungry before I eat. So I will put a little fat in my coffee, and then I will froth it up with like a hand blender, like a stick blender. And you can see that here, that it kind of froths up and makes a foam. So that's what I drink when I'm at home. Now, I am trying also to drink black coffee at home most of the time, because I am trying to combine it a little bit with intermittent fasting. So like I will not eat for 18 hours of the day. Most of that is when I'm sleeping, so that's not a big deal. And just eat twice a day. I'm eating 2 times a day. So I'm eating lunch. I try to eat at noon, and then I try to have my last meal in before 6 o'clock. It doesn't always work, but I'm not going to beat myself up, because you know what? An eating plan and carnivore is not a plan for perfection. What do I eat? I thought that I would take, and I'm going to be sharing this with you more and more, what have I been eating? So yesterday I did breakfast for lunch, breakfast is absolutely my favorite meal. But I did 4 fried eggs in butter. I also save the grease from the bacon when I make bacon, and I will fry, steaks and meat in bacon fat. And then I had I think it was about 6 slices of bacon. I really didn't count. So that's what I had for lunch yesterday. And then for dinner, I had gotten out some chicken we butchered a few chickens last fall. I got out some chicken breast meat and just cut it into strips. I fried it up in bacon fat with some spice seasoning, which I'll tell you about in a minute, what seasonings I'm using. And then I also had taken some pork belly. Pork belly was on sale. I kind of go by, what meat is on sale at the grocery store, because honestly, I can't afford to eat a ribeye every night, but I can afford, some other things. So pork belly was on sale at the grocery store this last week. I took some of the pork belly and I chunked it up and I made some pork belly bites. So basically I just put the squares of pork belly in a bag, shook it up with some spices, and then I just stuck that in the air fryer. So I had some air fried pork belly, which is a good fatty meat also. And I did end up putting a little bit of butter on the chicken because it was dry. The breast meat of the chicken is the driest part of the chicken, driest meat of the chicken in my opinion. And I have to tell you, I was really full from eating that yesterday. And it's the fat, it's the higher fat. So you want higher fat, and then secondary would be protein. But for me, the spices and things that you do to your meat right now, on currently where I am on my journey, which is very early on, I'm going to use spices I want to, but I'm going to very carefully look at the ingredients on the spices. If there's anything wacky in there that I don't like, I don't use it. One of the spices that the spice that I put on the chicken yesterday was the Tony Chachere's or Chachere's, or I'm not really sure how you pronounce it, but the Creole seasoning. The Creole seasoning has zero has 0 grams of carbohydrates, and it doesn't have sugar. So I ran out, there's nothing left in here, so I've got to get another container of this because this is a really good seasoning, especially for like chicken and that sort of thing. So that's what I used on the chicken. And then I used a combo of Tony Chachere's and this spice called Hardcore Carnivore Black. And it is black. Turn it around here for you. It is black. It has activated charcoal in it, so it gives more of a flavor of a just grilled something over charcoal. And this one I use on steak. Now, this one does have 1 gram of carbohydrates per serving. So, and then I added to it also some garlic powder and onion powder. One thing that you have to be careful about, any kind of product that you buy in a package has a lot of potential to have sugar in it. But this is something that I will probably phase out and use like only once in a while after a certain period of time, whenever I decide that is. And now I want to share with you something that's really hard for me to share, and that is my before pictures. I even hesitate about it now because I don't want to say the number of pounds that I was, and I'm not happy with how I look. There has been maybe a year out of my life where I was happy with how I actually looked and looked in pictures since I was probably 10 years old. And that's sad, but that's how it is. So here's my before pictures. And I weighed 387 pounds. So I have a lot of pounds to lose. I have at least 200 pounds to lose. But what I'm going to do is make smaller goals because 200 pounds is a lot of pounds. And so I'm going to be doing this in 50-pound increments. So my first goal is to lose 50 pounds. So I hope that you will be here with me to encourage me. And I hope that if someone out there is like me, that we can do this journey together. I do want to give you 2 doctors that I respect very, very much, who have been on the carnivore diet for, one has been on I think at least 5 years, maybe almost 10 now, and the other one has been on it like 10, 20 years, something like that. But there are a lot of doctors and surgeons even who are on this diet now. This is the way that they eat. They've looked at things, they've done the research, they know what's going on, and this is how they eat. I would highly recommend that you listen to Dr. Ken Berry. He has a channel here on YouTube with many, many followers of people who are on this way of eating now. So I'll link to his channel. And then the other channel I'd like for you to check out if you want to learn more about the carnivore diet is Dr. Anthony Chaffee. Dr. Chaffee is a neurosurgeon, and he has been eating this way for, I think it's almost 20 years now, but at least 10. And he is just like the epitome of health. he looks fantastic, and all he eats is meat and salt and water. So go and check out those 2 channels if you want to learn more. I thank you for being with me here today. The next video will be on what my side business was and what I'm doing to phase it out, and also anything else that I've been learning about the carnivore diet. Have a fabulous day. Until next time.